Hi everyone! Today I'm gonna learn you some words that don't exist in Dutch. So, hallo allemaal Dutchies to be. What did I say? I'm gonna learn you some words that don't exist in Dutch. Well, first of all, case in point. Because I'm saying here, I'm gonna learn you some words. Actually, of course, in English you would say, I'm gonna teach you some words. I'm gonna teach you some words that don't exist in Dutch. And well, first of all, we don't have a separate word for to teach. And second of all, how am I gonna teach you words that don't exist? Yeah, well, that's not gonna be easy, of course, but I will just give it a go. And before we're gonna do that, I want to ask you that if you recognize some of these words that don't exist in Dutch, but you have them in your language, please share them in the comments. And this is just a short list of words that don't exist. So if you also think of more words that don't exist in Dutch, then also please share them in the comments. Well, the first one is to teach. In Dutch, we don't have a word for to teach. We use the verb leren. If you want to say, for example, I teach you Dutch, I would just say, ik leer jou Nederlands. But we also use leren for to learn. So, for example, ik leer Nederlands is I'm learning Dutch. Ik leer jou Nederlands is I'm teaching you Dutch. So that's why often Dutchies make this mistake when they translate it into English, like what I did in the intro. I'm learning you Dutch. And we also have another way to say that I'm teaching you. For example, if I want to say that more in general, I'm teaching Dutch, I would say, ik geef Nederlands. So I give Dutch. So weird. Yeah, so this is also a way to say that you're teaching. But as you can see, we don't have a separate word, a separate verb for to teach. Then two words for family that don't exist in Dutch. The first one is cousins. We don't have this word. We only have the words nicht and neef. And nicht is for the female niece or the female cousin. And neef is for the male cousin or the nephew. Because we don't have a word for cousins, the concept for us is a little bit different. Like the sons and daughters of my siblings are called nichtjes, neefjes, but also the children of my aunts and uncles. Aunts and uncles, not ankles. The kids of my aunts and uncles are also called nichtjes and neefjes. So, for example, when I shot one of my first videos for YouTube, I invited mijn nichtje, mijn lievelingsnichtje. And let's see how I introduced her.
Hey, 50!
Welkom allemaal.
Hi!
Dit is Amber en ik heb haar vandaag uitgenodigd. Zij is mijn nicht. So what I said is, dit is Amber. Zij is mijn nicht, which is totally fine in Dutch. But I translated it as what you saw. Dit is Amber. She's my niece. And then I got some comments. For example, this one. I am confused. How are you nieces? Are you cousins? Because the translation says you are each other's nieces. That's not possible, of course, because either one is the aunt and the other is the niece. Yeah, this is very typical for us Dutchies. We call our cousins in English also nieces and nephews very often. Not everyone, but people like me. And so she's not my niece, she's my cousin. And actually I'm gonna adjust it in the subtitles on YouTube. Another example, which is less funny, but what we don't have in Dutch is the word siblings. I'm not sure if you have it in other languages because I was looking it up. It doesn't exist in German, in French, in Spanish. Well, according to Google Translate, it doesn't exist there. Maybe it does, and let me know in the comments if it does. But we just say broers en zussen. Heb jij broers en of zussen? Do you have siblings? It's so much easier, that word. Why don't we have it? If you were to ask me, heb jij broers en zussen, Kim? Whew. Ja, ik heb... ja, 3 broers, ja. En 4 zussen. En 2 stiefzussen. Nou ja, ik heb 1 echte broer, 2 halfbroers, 4 halfzussen en 2 stiefzussen. The third word that doesn't exist in Dutch is something to call your boyfriend or girlfriend. We just use the word vriend or vriendin, which can also mean a friend, which is a male friend, or female friend. So for example, I can say, dit is Elise, and I can say, zij is een vriendin, of zij is mijn vriendin. Zij is een vriendin means she's a friend. Zij is mijn vriendin is a little bit more ambiguous. It can still mean she's my friend, which is a girl. But most of the time it gets interpreted or it gets used as she is my girlfriend. Then it depends on context what it means or how you can interpret that. Dit is Alex. Hij is mijn vriend. Well, could be interpreted both ways again, but most likely it will be interpreted as he's my boyfriend. So it must be confusing to students, but also for us Dutchies as well sometimes. Because sometimes even us, we don't really know from the context which one it is. Is it your partner? Is it your friend? To make it a little bit more clear that someone is not yours, because actually if you say mijn vriend, mijn vriendin, it sounds kind of possessive, like he's mine. He belongs to me. Just to let you know that he's not my possession and just a friend, I could say hij is een vriend. Of hij is een vriend van mij. And for a girl, like, zij is een vriendin of zij is een vriendin van mij. That makes it a little bit more clear, like she's just a friend, not my possession. And to make known that someone is your boyfriend, I could say, for example, hij is mijn vriendje. But I'm getting a little bit too old to say that. But when I was younger, I could say, for example, hij is mijn vriendje. And then you know actually more for sure he's my boyfriend. But it could still be like when you're really young, like it's just your friend, and it's just very complicated. Why don't we just have a word for it? Like in Spanish you have novio, novia. Sounds so much better to just say it like that. Girlfriend, boyfriend, novio, novia, or the other way around. Let's continue on this love theme. Then the fourth one that we don't really have is an equivalent of I love you. Yes, of course, we have something else for it, but just let me explain first. So in English, you have the noun love, which is liefde in Dutch. And in English, you can make a verb from this noun to love. I love you. So why don't we have like ik lief jou, for example? We don't have that. What do we have instead? Ik hou van jou. But houden without van, for example, means to hold or to keep. That sounds so possessive again. I hold of you, or I keep of you, or something. Again, I'm not your possession. It's just not logical. To me, it's not logical. Then another problem I have with this is that, to me, houden van, so ik hou van jou, sounds a little bit more serious than what I say to people in English, like I love you. When you are in a relationship, you would say I love you earlier than in Dutch that you would say ik hou van jou. Or maybe that's me, but in my head it's like different in a sort of seriousness. I don't know how you think about this or how you feel about it. Let me know, because maybe I'm just totally wrong. When I was younger and I was in a relationship with a guy, we were also just in this phase, like we wanted to say to each other that we loved each other, but we've both found ik hou van jou like so serious. So we just made up ik lief jou. I feel love for you. Liefde, ik voel liefde voor je. Ik lief jou. We have the verb liefhebben. Ik heb je lief. I have you love. Or something. Maybe that's more comparable. It's a little bit less serious maybe. But not a lot of people use it. Ik heb je lief. It's beautiful actually. More people should use it. Ik heb je lief. Yeah, could be nice to just start using this more. Then lastly, when we're talking about love and emotions and everything, I got lots of responses from you guys that there are two words that are not in Dutch and actually they are in other languages and perhaps they kind of mean the same, which is dor, or how do you pronounce it? I don't know, in Romanian, and saudade. How do you pronounce it? I don't know, but that's a Portuguese word. And they both describe that you are missing someone so intensely with so much almost pain and nostalgia and I don't know, that it's not the same as in Dutch, ik mis je, or in English, I miss you. I want to just read the comments to you. So, dor is what you feel in your heart when you miss someone you love. It's like a noun. It can be used like I have dor. So, me ador. And that means I miss you, but it's deeper than that. And someone else also said, ik kies dor in Roemeense taal. So, I choose dor in Romanian. It's a word for sadness, for nostalgia, for longing and love, to see someone or something even. How can I say it even better? It's like pain in the soul. Oh my God, this is what I feel really very often. So this is a perfect word for me. Oh my God, I love this word. And then someone responded and said like saudade in Portuguese. And also lots of other people responded with saudade. So saudade is also feeling of longing, of missing someone, of melancholia, and also they say it's not the same as ik mis je. Oh my God, I finally found a word that I never knew that I can finally describe my feelings. I should be Portuguese or Romanian. I wanted to share that with you guys. I have goosebumps, really. Can you see it? Yeah, a little bit, you see? I'm even talking about it, I get goosebumps. It's so beautiful, and we need to have a word in Dutch for this. I was thinking maybe verlangen. Ik verlang naar je, of ik verlang naar iets. But maybe it doesn't describe the nostalgia and the pain and the melancholia and... Let's think of something. This is a weird ending of this video, I know that. And I want to ask you again, like I did before, did you recognize any of these words that we don't have in Dutch, but you do have it in your language? Or are there any okay, or are there any other words in your language that we don't have in Dutch? Like saudade, like dor, like an actual word for boyfriend, girlfriend, siblings, cousins, and we started with teaching. And if you want to learn more Dutch with me, and normally I speak Dutch in my videos, so if you want to learn more Dutch with me and listen to me speaking in Dutch, then you can subscribe to my channel, watch my other videos, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it will help my channel to grow, and then I will be forever grateful. And then I wish you all a really great day. I hope to see you soon in my next video. Doei!